This video presented to you by Hiya. Get 50% off your first order by using the link below or by going to hiyahealth.com/Paris in my pocket today. People ask me all the time what they should do in Paris with kids, and I always respond, I don't know. I don't have kids. Unless you count this little guy as a child, which you probably shouldn't. But that doesn't mean that I don't know a whole bunch of people who have kids. So I've gathered a group of Parisian friends who've lived here for a long time and have children, plus one nanny, and asked them, what is it that you like to do with your kids when you're here? And what do you recommend that your friends and family do when they come to town with their kids? So with no further ado, here's how to visit Paris like a local with kids and actually enjoy it. Yes, really.
My name is Ajri Aki. I've lived in Paris for almost 15 years. I have 2 kids. My son is 9, almost 9. And my daughter is 12, going on 13. There's things that you like to do if you live here normally, and there's things that tourists might want to do. But I think you should maybe do a little bit of both. So one of the things I love to do with my kids is take them to La Villette. It's a park in the 19th. It's excellent because it's really big and there's endless things to do. For example, when they were younger, we used to go to Cité de Séance, but Cité de Séance has different age groups that you sign your kids up, whether they're small toddlers or middle age or up till 12, and that keeps them busy for a while. It's really fun, and when you leave Cité de Séance, you can also go into the park.
My name is Kate. I've been living in Paris for the past 9 years, and of those 9 years, I've been either au pairing or nannying for 8 of them. Okay, so the first one I have on the list is the Dragon Park, which is located in La Villette, very far up past the canal. I really love taking kids here because it's a super cool park where you have this giant metal dragon that kids climb up the ladder of, and then it goes pretty high up, and then they slide down the tongue of the dragon. I've never seen a park like this, and in La Villette you have a lot of space. Kids can kind of run more freely, and it's more relaxing, and there's no cars around it. And then if you go across the bridge, then you also have this other little space called the Folie de Vent, and it's a little park that's located across. You have to go through, there's a little security guard, but you can go in, and it's kind of a gated indoor park that's free for kids, and there's a lot of little obstacle courses. There's mini trampolines inside, and just outside of that you also have like a kids carousel and mini amusement park. So in general, that area is perfect if you want to have a picnic with kids before or after and then take them to this park. It's super fun.
As somebody who doesn't have kids and thus doesn't travel with them, one of the big things that really stood out to me in interviewing everybody for this was how consistently food is a problem. Kids don't like to eat, which is bananas to me because the main thing that I loved about traveling when I was a kid was eating, which should probably come as absolutely no surprise, which is why today's partnership with Hiya is actually so perfect. Hiya has a daily multivitamin, which makes sure your kids get the vitamins that they need while traveling and only eating French fries or pasta. They've got a daily probiotic to keep those tummy rumblies away while on the road, and they've got their sleep essentials, which is a delightful way to ensure that nappy time doesn't end up, screwing with you too much when you're jet lagged. I mean, jet lag with kids, I can only imagine what that's like. If you go to hiyahealth.com/Paris in my pocket right now, you'll get 50% off your first order, and they send you these wonderful glass jars that then come with your first month's worth of vitamins. I think I'm allowed to eat these on camera. Your first month's worth of vitamins, because they don't make them for adults. These are just for kids. And then they'll send you refills every month. So it's super eco-friendly, and these glass jars travel really well. I brought them all the way with me to Paris, and they made it just fine. That's hiyahealth.com/Paris in my pocket. Go right now. You'll get 50% off your first order. And honestly, these things are really tasty, and I wish they did make them for adults because they're great. Anyway, let's get you back to tips on how to travel in Paris with those rugrats of yours.
My name's Richard. I'm Richard Bilkey. I have 3 kids, aged 10, 7 and 4. 3 boys, and yeah, we've been here 11 years, so my kids have all been born here. They go to school here. We've tried to take them everywhere. Whenever we get family to come here, there are a couple of museums that we always love to hit up. The main one near us in the Musée is the Musée de la Chasse et de la Nature. That's the Museum of Hunting and Nature. Quirky little museum, lots of stuffed animals, a lot of little interactive exhibits for the kids. Going to a hunting museum sounds a bit strange, but actually it's a really sensitively and quite thought-provoking little museum. We always find that the kids, it's a great way to spend an hour or two if you're in the Musée, it's raining, or just for something really fun and different to do.
I'm Jessica Holland. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I've been in Paris for 16 years. I love the bowling alley because the bowling alley is good for when it's rainy. It's got food and beer, and it's got activities for adults and for kids, so everyone has fun. That's the most important thing, because I don't want to do something that I'm not going to have fun and my kids are going to be doing their own thing and I'm going to be bored.
Amber's just broken free from her family. She's like, I'm on a shoot, it might take 4 hours.
Who knows, I'm busy.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I've been in Paris for almost 13 years. I have 2 kids, 5 and 8, 2 little girls.
I'm Amber, I've been in Paris 24 years. And I've got 2 kids, 5 and 11.
You're gonna start, Amber, first rec. We're standing in it.
Our top tip is this park. This is the Jardin de Pont. Parents need parks, so this is a beautiful park. Let the kids run around. It's got a playground, but it also has 3 museums and a zoo.
And a carousel.
And a carousel. It's got an iconic carousel. And the museums are really kid-friendly. So they've got the Natural History Museum, they've got the Galerie d'Evolution, which is also about animals. They've got the Mineralogy Museum, so that's about like rocks and minerals. And of course a zoo, which is really fun, and lots of different gardens. So they've got the rose garden that we're in at the moment, and they've also got a hidden alpine garden, so it's really nice.
So basically, if your kids like live animals or dead animals or rock or need an ice cream, you can do it all here.
So you can drop in and out of that one. I've got a little kid under the table here.
Hide and seek.
You're playing hide and seek?
Yeah,
Good stuff. Good work. If you go to the Jardin de Pont, really good to take a break if you need to. Behind that is the Grande Mosquée of Paris, and they have the tea rooms in there. Jump in there. The mint tea is incredible. There's a lot of pastries and sweet things for the kids. So we always do that. It's one of our favourite places to go with the kids as well.
Okay, the other one I have on my list is Vedettes de Pont Neuf, which is a boat that leaves from the Pont Neuf. It leaves from a bridge, and if you're just arriving in Paris with kids, I think it's a really fun way for kids to kind of get oriented in the city of saying, like, you basically take this boat up and down the Seine. It goes all the way from Notre Dame, then turns around and goes down to the Eiffel Tower. It's a fun thing. And what I've liked to do with kids that I nannied plenty of times before is I go to the cheap little tourist stands that are located around that area, and I pick berets with them. They can pick their own color, and then you wear the berets on the boat and like take silly pictures on it. I think it's like kind of Mary-Kate and Ashley vibes. It's fun and it makes it more amusing versus just like taking a kid on a boat.
Paris is very overwhelming, a lot of people, metro, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of recommendations go hand in hand with parks. There are some great parks in Paris. You can like add in some culture. So something like the Château de Vincennes is really fun to visit. Medieval castle, nice quick visit. It's just next to the Parc Floral, beautiful, great places to play, easy to have a picnic. Another great combo of park and culture would be the Fondation Louis Vuitton, and then you've got the Parc de Climatisation, which is just next to it. It's got animals, it's got rides, it's got a splash park. You do pay to go into it, but it is really, really fun, really nice to visit.
It's basically like a fancy French amusement park, and it's one of the oldest. I think it opened in like the 19th century or something. So the kids do love it. So you can go drag them to Louis Vuitton and have your moment of culture, and then bring them to the amusement park, but a chic Parisian amusement park. Yeah. And that's over here, and the Château de Vincennes over here.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're east side or west side, you're going to find something.
I really love taking kids who are maybe a bit older. This works if they're between the ages of like 5 and 13, I would say, who are creative. I like to take them to a paint shop, but if you want to go somewhere easier, the version of Target maybe, it's called Hema, and go get paint and paper, and then take them to Luxembourg Gardens and sit on the grass. And it overlooks the really beautiful palace, and you have nice green areas with trees you can sit under and kind of let their like artistic Parisian side come out. It's a really fun way to just kind of pass the time. And also for parents, I like it because I can just kind of sit and chill while the kids paint and do their activity. And like, you can drink some wine and chill out if you're not babysitting, if you're a parent, and do a picnic with your friends while your kids are entertained.
Another place that I really, really like is the Jardin de Luxembourg, because the kids can play with boats, feel kind of like you're in the olden days, which is fun. And also the spot is absolutely stunning, and there's really good ice cream. I like to take them to André, the park, because there is a large open space where they can play, they can meet other kids. There's a really cool structure. It's like a park with multiple levels, so there's like a huge space for water fountains so they can play in the summer. And also there's a montgolfier, where a hot air balloon. So you can go up and have a huge view of the city, a 360 view, and it works all year long. Well, I like it because when you get a clear sunny day and the line's not too long, you feel like you're really doing something easy that's touristy at the same time.
Okay, so you're a parent in Paris, you need a snack, your kid needs a goûter. Where are you gonna go? Any bakery. Any bakery will do. You don't have to look for the best one in Paris, because let's be honest, these are your kids. Anything with chocolate and butter is gonna be great. But we do have a tip. You need to ask for something specifically. So of course you can get the croissant, the pain au chocolat, but you should ask for the chouquettes. They're usually like in a little basket, close to the register or behind the counter, because these things are like crack. They've got to sell them over the counter. Chouquette, it's like a cream puff without the cream.
It's like made of choux pastry, so it's like a little sort of, like you said, cream puff without a cream. It's like made with choux pastry and it's covered in sugar. And these are the top thing for French parents. You grab a bag, you put them in your purse, and you're good to go.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
My kids ask for them all the time. Even when we're going to get a baguette for dinner, they're like, Chouquette? I'm like, no.
I also really love restaurants where I can eat and the kids can eat their food and maybe run off and play. So any restaurant that has a park near it or an outdoor courtyard, so Place Dauphine is really great. The restaurant Trousseau has a square just right there so the kids can, you know, eat their dinner and run off to the park while you sit on the terrace.
So the Philharmonie de Paris is up in the 19th, and it's at Pont, and there is an amazing, fully redone sound room where it's completely immersive and experiential. Again, good for parents and for kids. The price is right. Discovery of that space, I think, is really cool, and it's a really educational spot.
Another great option for kids is called the Illusion Museum. They also have this in New York, I believe, and some other cities scattered around Europe. But if you're in Paris, it's central. It's located right near Les Halles with a lot of great food options right nearby. And it's an illusion museum, so it kind of explains itself. You go through, it takes about an hour. This is great for kids of all ages because you can take photos with them and then they can see the illusion that's happening. It's just like a fun way to pass time with kids, especially if there's bad weather. And it's very oriented towards younger kids. It's fun.
Okay, another thing that I think Jay will definitely put his stamp of approval on is you got to hunt for invaders when you're in Paris. Kids love that. Why?
Invader is a street artist, and he started really putting these like little space invaders around Paris in the late 90s. And so it's from that game, the computer game, which I've never ever played, which looks like Space Invaders. So it's all done with tiles, and they're all around the city. And there's a free app you can get, and you can flash the invader. It's called Flash Invaders, and it gives you points. But it is really, really fun, and it's true. I started doing it with my kids for them, and now I'm like, please come and hunt for invaders with me. But it does really motivate them, and they are everywhere. There's one at the top of the Eiffel Tower.
They're all over. I think
all
there's
over the city, and they do make a really fun way to walk. There are maps, so you can kind of even. I've given my children maps before, and they've had to find them themselves. So it's really, really a fun way. And then you get to like look at the city, and they're really motivated.
And they
to
have
run
like
around.
a game to play, and it's totally free and really fun.
Yes.
So my kids also love it.
We
And so
love
do we.
them.
We all have a good time. So it's fun, especially if they're getting a bit tired and cranky, the Chouquettes are gone, you're like, let's look for invaders. It's also a great way if you don't have a plan, if you just want to walk around.
A few tips, I guess, when you're traveling here. Number one thing always, whether you're with kids or not, always double check the opening hours because museums often close Mondays and Tuesdays in particular, but always double check those before you go. If you're traveling with kids, obviously if you've sort of got 1, 2-year-old, you're going to bring your stroller or your pram. But even for like a 3 or 4-year-old, if you're considering bringing that stroller, if it fits, you know, if you've got one of the small yo-yos or the smaller ones that fit on the plane, bring it. There's a lot of walking around Paris, and believe me, you don't want to be carrying your 4-year-old around everywhere, so bring those strollers.
If you have young children in a stroller, know that you probably can cut in the line. You can jump the queue depending on which museum you're in. Even at the airport, they have a fast lane for families. So especially if you have babies or toddlers in strollers, use that to your advantage. Don't leave the stroller at home, bring it out. Wheel it to the front of the line. That's a great tip.
So I'm a guide at the Louvre, as you know, and I worked with this family, and they had hired or borrowed like a really small stroller. And you'll see that a lot of people in Paris, they do use very small, narrow ones, because to get through the metro, they do need to be quite narrow. And it was so good, like they could easily fold it. We skipped the line, like you said, with museums.
Yeah.
You can keep all your stuff, all your snacks, everything in there. And little children, it's really advisable because there is a lot of walking. So if you're in between, like, do they still need a, we call it stroller, a pram? Yeah, bring one. It is really worth it.
So when people come to Paris, I think for me, the experience that I've had is that they underestimate the jet lag. And so they plan lots of things because they're only here for like 3 or 4 days. And so right off the bat, they try to do a lot of kind of taxing things for little kids. And I would say avoid planning or making reservations for things within the first couple of days because you don't know how your kids are going to feel. And you really don't want to do the Louvre with a bratty, tired kid. So making an itinerary where it's flexible and like there's a park involved, where there's shade involved. There's not too many metros because kids fall asleep on the metro. Finding ways to make sure that you stay local to wherever you're staying and finding the spots within that area so that you can be adjustable and flexible based on how your kids feel.
The kids like to eat also, you know, like they like to eat. So it's like making sure there's a crepe in there, or you can take them, you can't expect them to sit at like gastro restaurants, but there's lots of great restaurants that don't have to be a gastronomical restaurant while you can still get great food, so.
Goûter is an important institution in
Institution,
France. It
yeah.
is. I describe it as the children's meal because families
Yes.
eat together, and so they eat later in France. And so children, when they finish school at 4:30, what they do is they go to the boulangerie, you buy them a snack, so like a croissant, pain au chocolat, chouquettes. You take them to the square, you let them scream for a few hours. It tides them over till dinner time, which is, between 7 and 8. So it's just like a little snack for the children, and you, why not you?
And this is when like anything goes at the goûter. Like French people, they eat quite well at every meal, but the goûter is all about sugar, chocolate, butter. Like literally chocolate sandwich, 2 pieces of bread with butter and a slab of chocolate. That is acceptable. There's no kale chips, so don't worry about that.
Well, I babysit for a lot of families who are also tourists here. And my advice that I always give them is that Paris is a very kid-friendly city, and you can take your kids to do anything. You just need to make it fun for them. Like taking kids to go to any museum in the city, like the Louvre, they're gonna have a fun time because it's a new experience. So just try to get them excited about things, but you don't really need to change around your entire itinerary to orient it just towards your kids. Just go do the things that you might want to do anyway, and your kids are guaranteed to have fun.
Be prepared to walk, be prepared to lift strollers up the stairs of metros. Like, it's physical, they're going to be long days. So be patient with everybody, have fun, and don't worry if you don't see everything. I've been here, 11 years now, I've got a 10-year-old, we haven't seen everything. It's fine.
If you're a parent coming to Paris, hopefully this has helped you to feel a little bit more at ease bringing your children along. And if you wanted even more recommendations, more tips and tricks, everything that we couldn't fit into this video, we've compiled it all into an article in my guide at parisinmypocket.com. It's in the base guide. You can go grab that right now to have the best time in Paris possible, along with all my recommendations and tips and tricks for traveling in Paris like a local. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you here in Paris.